Batman said nobody cared who I was until I put on the mask. The truth is, no one cares who you are with the mask on. It's when the mask is off that these animals become disturbed or alarmed. There is no need to be their Superman, their hero, or anything that makes you feel better about yourself existing among these animals. I'm not owe these people anything. If they all died, I would feel nothing. I wouldn't feel angry, happy, or sad. It's just like seeing 1,000 children blown up on the news. It's mildly amusing, and it would be very amusing to see them blown up in slow motion. The point is that I don't owe this world or anybody anything. I hate them all dispassionately, and when they get in my way, that hate becomes passionate, briefly before the obstacle is removed from my way. Like traffic. Furthermore, all adults are simply bigger children with more emotional restraint. A police officer is a baby with a badge and some training. Some cops break down like babies when they're being killed. Some remain efficient and effective at killing. Many are autists on the spectrum. Any person in these extreme occupations are on the spectrum are deeply traumatized and seeking a traumatic life to relive and release the trauma into. A grandmother or grandfather is just a very old baby, and so is a mother or father, no matter how large or small they are. They're programmed beings following their train like dogs, like animals. I have no reason to exist among these things, and yet I do. And so I thought I ought to try and recreate whatever they're experiencing, but I was an actor and not spectacular at it. Now the world seeks to try and provoke me into acting more brilliantly, but my hatred is dispassionate. I care not to do so, I care not at all, and yet I exist like a robot, like a machine. Sometimes I laugh, sometimes I don't. It doesn't matter to me either way, but laughter makes me feel better, raises my mood, and apparently feelings help people do things they need to do in society. I just move my body and program my mind to continue doing whatever it's demanded to do until I die. So, if I have any more good days, I'll surely be placed in a watch list. Surely I can't keep getting away with this. How can I keep having so many emotionally fulfilling, thrilling, joyful days? I may as well be playing with 15 young girls in the shower, naked, screaming, a birthday party, which is the most fun thing a little girl can have in this world. I have so much fun every day. Now that I know it's all meaningless, there is no reason to mask. There is no reason not to stare at a woman's ass. If it makes you feel better, then it's a gift of God to me. I don't have to explain anything to anyone except myself. Organize my genius thoughts for the sake of my mind remaining organized. If I see a black, they might see me as a thug, a threat, or as a brother to them, because their brother was a sort of a thug before they died, or some complex mix of emotions in their head, resulting in me being painted as a friend or a foe inside their mind, and I bear no responsibility for the way they see me. Women, young and old, flock to me wherever I go, whenever I'm doing some physical activity, to the point where it becomes dangerous. They're almost in my way. I'm shadowboxing, and they nearly walk into my fists. A man would not do this, but the females just have some fantastical dream about who I am, something perverted, odd, and sexual is like spinning in these girls' minds that I dare not speculate further on. And furthermore, when I interact with them directly, it distorts and shadows their fantasy, which drives them away. But when I'm focused on my task, they're able to fantasize freely and imagine me to be whatever suits these girls' twisted desires. It really is ridiculous. It really hampers my progress of breeding as many women as possible when their minds are so nonsensical. That's why young girls are best, but because of society, they are the hardest to catch. It truly is nonsense. It's all disingenuous and false and fake, and this world seems to ask the soul to max out how false and fake they can be, or masochistic and hopeful, or hateful and dangerous. I stop caring so much that I become a robot, a machine. I don't even care what people say to me, or whatever judgments they have of me, or not, or even who they are, or even why I'm here. I'm a genius who has created countless works of art, yet all of that means nothing. I will die, and likely it will be soon. My personality doesn't seem compatible with people. I feel fated to die at the hands of the police, and yet I have no fear of that. I don't feel anything most of the time. I just feel mildly amused at seeing things blow up. My parents annoy me, and apparently they all have love for me or whatever, but I don't feel anything. I just play the role of my character in this game, and this game of life sucks even more than that shitty RNG Japanese gacha game gambling bullshit that can sometimes be a great waste of time for me. Love is meaningless to me, and I don't think that will ever change. I'm interested in works of art, beauty. When a woman is beautiful, that is a great distraction. Climaxing and screaming that I love you is a lie brought about by a high in emotion. When I'm completely detached, then there's nothing. But I'm not supposed to be there. It gets in the way of playing my character, which is a ridiculous character. How fucking boring. What would sex be like if my penis didn't have any sensory glands? I'm still obsessed with hugging girls. I have an obsession with girls. Does that make it true? Does that make it real? Is anything real? The thinking leads nowhere, which is why I have to go to the pussy until I die. The pussy is what matters because there's my answer. I need to seek it until the mission is over and I can blast off home like Star Fox. The autistic Spider-Man's final fight with Green Goblin was intense, and as an autist, it truly must have felt very real when the world feels fake and like a boring joke that you don't understand. I don't even feel pain anymore. Not really. I just keep moving my body. I can't get injured. My body would have to shut down completely like a robot for me to stop moving it. I remember that I once walked 20 miles in one day in shoddy shoes. The next day I went to do it again. My body started to complain, but I decided to do the walk anyway because it pisses me off when anything gets in my way. Let's say, for example, that someone is like a big bird in the pool, in that one odd internet meme, where Big Bird sees a little girl and gets so excited that he prematurely ejaculates. If Big Bird pursued the girl then and there, he would be in outer space, so high, so real, the sexual thrill would be unspeakable, better than banging 100 whores while high, real enough to die for, or so a rash pedophile might think. But a Machiavellian pedophile who waits for the perfect opportunity faces the real possibility that the prize may not live up to all that was sacrificed for it. It's the same as that cartoon episode where characters climb a mountain and fight a monster for the perfect sandwich. It makes no sense. It makes no fucking sense. It's insane gambling behavior incentivized by this distorted, disturbed world. I remember looking at a porno as a teen when the hormones were very strong and the shame was very high, and the girl wasn't even that hot, and she had glasses on, which they kind of turned me off. But I was so aroused that I felt like I was dying, like I had a fever. The frenzy was insane, and there was no need for drugs to get there. It probably explains why people become pedophiles despite the behavior being highly punished by society. Sex with a pregnant mom could get me there in the right circumstances because I was programmed to have this fetish. I don't know if it's autistic, sexual, spiritual, or genetic, but pregnant women were designed to drive me into a frenzy. There was an autist at the gym. I smiled at him because I knew him since grade school, but he was a masked autist in school, and he only stared blankly back at me. This other time, he seemed nervous or scared when I was with my mother. Meanwhile, when I lifted a heavy weight, he seemed proud and adoring, like I was his father. His reactions were atypical, strange, and when I saw him recently, he couldn't stop smiling over something he was listening to on his headphones, completely alone in his head. A gym girl seemed interested in me, talking with me, smiling, shaking hands with me, but when I wanted to watch a movie with her, she avoided me, and I saw her again after, and she wanted to talk again, seemed especially happy after I lifted a much heavier weight than before. What I'm saying is that these people are babies, infants, autists with a thin mask, and most everyone else in the gym is somewhere else on the spectrum. Half the personality of girls comes from TV and TikTok, the other half comes from shame and expectations of society. Side note, this girl was pretty, which is why I was interested in her. Maybe I'm pretty to her, or I'm handsome, or whatever. But it seems like these pretty people are designed to just have problems. This sort of ridiculous notion where if the girl is more than 8 out of 10, she's crazy or something. This idea that, oh, you can't have it perfect. The perfect girl doesn't exist. Bullshit, you know? Why? If this simulation, if this video game is designed that way, it's just nonsense. I don't like ugly people. When someone looks ugly, I don't want to be around them. Period. It's just the way I am. And when someone is attractive, it makes me more want to be around them. Period. So I don't care about the whole sort of poison mixed with honey bullshit, or you can't have it perfect bullshit. I don't care about that, which is why I don't seem to be very compatible with the simulation. I don't care about the rules like, oh, if she's a pretty hot redhead, she's going to have problems. Like Mary Jane in Spider-Man has tons of screws loose. You know, she's problems. Margaret in regular show has a lot of problems, screws loose. She causes problems. These pretty girls cause problems. I don't care. I don't care how many problems these pretty girls cause. I don't care what the price the pussy is or what's supposed to be. I actually literally just don't fucking care. I've been through too much pain and problems to even care about the pain and problems anymore. It doesn't matter to me. I'm like sort of like a rhino now. I just kind of smash through whatever I'm supposed to smash through. A rhino in a china shop, or a bull? More than a bull, a rhino in a china shop. I just don't fucking care. And I don't say that just to say it to sound like some sort of character. It's just the way it is now. I walk around most of the time feeling nothing. I don't feel anything most of the time. Sometimes I feel this sort of anger, this sort of hatred, which makes sense. But a lot of times it's just like emptiness, you know. And it's a lot of something's like gone inside me, you know. Something's not there anymore at all, and it's my life, and I exist that way. And because of things are the way they are, I don't have reason to be sort of manipulated or steered by whatever people usually are steered by, like, oh, she's a hot girl, but she might cause problems for me. You're both. I don't even give a fuck. Anyway, so back to this topic. These people in the gym that I was talking about, they're babies, they're infants, they're autists with a thin mask. Most everyone else in the gym is somewhere else in the spectrum. Half the personality of these girls comes from TV and TikTok. The other half comes from the shame and expectation of society. This is why manipulation is a lie. It's how to brainwashing, direct programming, repetition, and ritual shaming. The idea of an individual manipulating another without the other knowing is ridiculous. So if I were to fuck a mother in her pussy that has birthed many babies, despite the fact that she has a husband, and she were to claim that I manipulated her because I'm some sort of villainous genius, this would be utterly ridiculous, completely untrue, because she knew the whole time that what she wanted and what I could provide, and decided to ride on a roller coaster, then hated the consequence and needed a story to absolve herself of all blame. Since I don't feel the effects of blame or shame anymore after having gone through so much pain that it's all become meaningless, and I don't even feel pain anymore, some ridiculous fictional narrative must be concocted in these people's minds to describe who I am. A master manipulator like Lelouch from Code Geass. Lelouch is a ridiculous idea, manipulating the world to serve him. Anyone can use pattern recognition to predict events. I'll try to use it on people with limited success. Because the whole autism retard effect, where people do not behave the way you wish because they are more animal and unpredictable than you would expect. The domino effect requires a little luck and a lot of pattern recognition, and thus the orchestrator must feel like a genius when it all comes together. However, a lot of people are not automatons. Predicting whether they will or won't crash out doesn't always work. Sometimes they do the opposite of what the manipulator expects, and then what? Therefore, true manipulation is gambling mixed with pattern recognition, a game of chance combined with autism. If a pedo wants a little girl to suck his cock and gives her candy, it's not master manipulation, it's a trade. If he brute forced her, then it's just brute force. Similarly, if a master boxer is facing a brute, feinting and funny tricks that would catch a skilled foe off guard won't work. An amateur is unpredictable, swinging wildly, so the master boxer ultimately relies on his superior power and stamina to knock the novice flat in 2 seconds flat. But if a simple, strong brute arrives, who can take 10 KO punches to the face and keep punching, then the master boxer is stuck in a brutal fight with no feints or tricks to take down his foe quick. This metaphor can be applied to manipulation. Feinting, a fake-out punch, a trick won't work on certain types of people, and all that manipulation goes out the window. The person becomes purely an obstacle that must be disposed of for the grand plan to succeed. Which is why certain people get killed in these master manipulator plans. They become murderers, which certainly raises the stakes. They surely go a long way to be as fake as possible. That's why my life is so simple, easy, and fun. I can walk through an open, unlocked door and they'll claim I broke in. I can have sex with a woman who wants sex and they'll claim I manipulated her, tricked her, etc. It really is a fun, great time. These people have ridiculous plots in their heads. The human mind is designed to make movies, to make script stories. That is all. And that's a good thing because I'm the greatest at making movies.